Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Lambom Show. Today is Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. And as always, every Wednesday we are here with the indefatigable and great Ed Okpa. We're going to continue our series on African development, the role of African immigrants. And today I want to continue something that we started off some time ago just to talk about, can Africa develop without foreign aid? And I think it's kind of framing the question really poorly, because it's as if um, the only thing, or without aid, development will not take place. I think there are many things that come to it. And I'm bringing this up because this week, so Okpa penned a response to an article that was published by Brookings on Kenya and Kenya healthcare that is too dependent on foreign donors. And you know that Kenya is one of those countries where you have a large international presence, and that is probably why you have lots of foreign aid coming in. But we just want to talk about this and find out, hey, what does Africa need? Do we remain beggars forever? What is it? What's going on with Africa? And there's a big announcement to be made at the end of the show today. So again, Sir Okpa, welcome. Thank you and good evening.
Well, thank you again for putting me on the spot. You made it such that I look to this Wednesday, I'm going to get tired on and get shot at, but that's okay. I signed up for it. I'm willing to take the shots if they know how to shoot.
Right. So let's ride on. I mean, your response was kind of, you said something about Kenya. You were particular about Kenya, and I just want you to maybe highlight. So the issue there is, it seems as if healthcare systems in Africa are too dependent on foreign aid. And
I'm just like, where did you read that? Because I was like, where did I put some? Is that on my LinkedIn page or something?
Yes, it is on your LinkedIn page.
Okay, I guess you've been watching me and try to trap me. That's fine. That's good. But this is factual. I don't say it's to make anybody feel better. We've been caught up on this having good, feeling good without having good feelings. The Kenyan example is what it is, and that is across Africa. I mean, at the time, Tanzania was so happy that somebody gave them $40,000 to buy condoms, to stop it. And then it makes you wonder, at what point in your opening remarks, at what point did you say, what, stop this stuff? We behave like everybody owes us something. Everybody has to give us something in order for us to feel, responsibility to do something ourselves. Yeah, healthcare is a major issue in Africa, and Kenya. Yes, Kenya has a lot of presence of some, I think UN agency and all this. But yeah. What does that really mean? I mean, they put in some staff over there, pay them some nice salary, and they talk to the population. What does that really mean? Is what I'm saying. Just like Ghana is jumping up and down because Twitter said they're going to have a presence in Ghana. Does it mean Ghana roads are going to be built? Does it mean Ghana people can borrow money in cities and be able to do things for themselves? If Google is in Ghana, what does it mean? If his Facebook is in Nigeria, what does it really mean? I want an app. I want an app that if I have appendicitis, I'll just put it on my stomach and it will do it. That's the app I'm looking for. The app, the app that will get me electricity without wire. The app that will deliver water to my home without pipe. The app like Lambert, I want to go to Cameroon. I don't have to join an airplane. I just download myself on the other side because I have a laptop. That's the app. So Africans are caught up on the things that feel good, but look at the physical nature of our various countries. We can't even take care of waste management. Have you ever gone to any African city and it's clean? Is it not trash everywhere? We can't even process. And that's an opportunity. That's a job creation. But we get excited, oh, an African is now president of some kind of agency. An African has developed an app to wire money to Cameroon or Nigeria. What is that all about? When we can even drive a road from Yaoundé to what is the other city and do it happily. We get caught up on app. Or we're looking for China to come and do it. Or since the white man has given up, China is now the next in line. And we run around with degrees. Tell me any university in the world an African has not gone to. Name one. We have married white people have married us. And then what else are we looking for or waiting for? Now we're marrying Chinese, so we can speak China. Anybody that shows up with anything that we don't have, we jump up and down. Look at it. How many Africans have gone to Lebanon and become wealthy? Ask that question to your audience. How many Africans have gone to India and gotten wealthy, or going to China? But these people can come into any African country in a matter of months, if years, few years, boom. They are the ones who are rescuing us and doing things for us, and we're happy with it. So, the mentality of African, I don't know what it would take to change it. I even say Jesus is not coming back physically because you know what, he's up there. We think he's up there. So when you've been in a high rise, you live in the DC area. When you up there and look down, doesn't every view look very beautiful? So he's up there looking at it and say, "Well, I'm not coming. You all got it going on." so you're there praying for him to come back. He said, "The first time I came, I got crucified. Now you all have guns. I'm not coming. You're gonna shoot at me. I'm not coming." Because we are waiting for something that we know is impossible, but we keep praying for it. So Jesus is not coming. For those who are Christians, if that makes you mad, be mad. Jesus is coming. And if he's coming, he's not coming for Africans alone. He saw us before. And we're the ones that call him the most. Lambert, let me tell you, if everybody's screaming your name in your household every day, wouldn't you get tired of it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if God made us in his own image, he's tired of you all. Stop calling me. Stop calling me. I'm tired of you all complaining.
Yes. So again, I attended a panel this morning, social entrepreneurs. Okay, it was quite rich, and they were talking about work in Africa. The title of it was something to the effect of how can we improve on work, making the future of work for all in Africa? And I found it quite interesting. Okay, one of the things that came out, and which is what I like you to address, is because again we are looking to the government. But one of the guys said, government must get out of the way so that young people can now become great entrepreneurs, because the government seems to be, government has its role, but the government is not only playing its role, it is going beyond that. And I'm wondering, because again, we talked about it here before. It's a different concept in the United States where many people don't want to go work for the government. But in Africa, everybody wants to go work for the government.
Because the government has become an institution. You see, it become an institution that nobody holds accountable. Does the government declare profit at the end of the year? They always, okay, we got to borrow money, and then we got to go borrow it on your behalf. And some of it, ends up, however it's ended up. There's a role of government, and that role of government is that, for instance, in the infrastructure development, you could have an app in your home and develop something and get paid billions. But if you want to build roads, you cannot do it as an individual. You need policies. If you want a water system, the things that really impact life, and the infrastructure. And infrastructure is local to the area. So if you have good roads in your community, it enables you to do what? Move around. Even public safety will be minimized, because then, people will not be able to, rob you if the cars are moving at a certain speed. But if the roads are bad, then somebody's going to wait for you, because you can go faster, and they will just throw a piece of wood and slow you down, and they rob you. So there are a lot of these things that government needs to do. But the Africans are not questioning their own. They celebrate their own. If you are from this particular tribe and your tribesman is the minister, even though the minister might live in a good house and you live in a hut, you are celebrating him or her. And you say, oh, it's my tribesman who is the president or the prime minister or the minister. But look at where you are. And that is the problem with the black race globally. Look at the black in America. Oh, my man is in downtown. My man is a member of the city council, but go to black neighborhood. What is in there? So which black country in the world have you visited and felt, oh, wow, this is a model we can copy? It's the same mentality. So yes, what we need to start telling our parents, our siblings, our friends we knew who went to school that are ministers. No, this is how we want you to govern. We have government, but we don't have governance. And that's the difference. You go around African countries. Cameroon has had 2 presidents. Kenya has had 5, and one you can even call it 4, because the father and the son come from the same family. So what is there in Kenya? The so-called the Horn of Africa, and they have never Kenya has never had a civil war. They never had a military coup. So how has the stability of the government they have had since independence, how has it helped them to move forward, to become a magnet, a model for East African countries? Don't even be for the rest of Africa, just for East Africa, or even Nigeria. They say they're the giant of Africa. I mean, I'm a Nigerian by birth. I have ties in Nigeria, but I'm not tied to Nigeria. I go over there and I shake my head. Is okay, Lambert, in terms of infrastructure, since we're talking about development, you know how many number of years between Nigeria and US to have their first power plant? You know how many years? 14. 14 years separated Nigeria. US built their first power plant 1882. Nigeria built their own 1896. Do the minuses. Is it not 14 years?
Right.
America had their power plant 106 years after independence. So it took them more than a century to come up with this technology everybody needs, and the infrastructure everybody needs now in order to be considered a viable society. Nigeria had it 64 years before independence. So Nigeria has been a beneficiary of what other people have done. It just doesn't have the will to make it work for them. You blame the white man for that? When the Africans are running around and professor of engineering, professor of this, professor of that, you look at the professor, he can't even drink water if he gives you one. Yeah? Or you look at where they live, they can't even. I mean, if you want people to respect you, then show them how you live. So these are the things we have to start doing. We don't need China. China didn't have any war to be present in Africa now. Did China wage any war with any African country?
Nope.
Look at the AU headquarters. Keep the screen. I want to see your facial expression as I say this thing. Look at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa when it was built. How much was the budget? $126 million to build the AU headquarters for how many African countries? 54 African countries, Lambert. Divide 126 by 54. It's not even $3 million. And the so-called rich Africans couldn't find a way to finance, to build their own headquarters. China has to do it for them. At what point did you take pride in doing things for yourself? At what point? The China everybody's running to never borrowed money to be where they are. They use their currency. If you pay people in the currency of Nigeria and they're able to use it and build roads, be power plant, even if it's the wrong one, they keep improving on it. That is how you have stability. That's how you build a skill set. But if every little thing you're running abroad to borrow, I mean, we know no money is free. Have you ever had a free money? Well, maybe when you give it to your girlfriend or something like your child. But money is not free. It has a cost to it. And when you borrow it internationally, the costs go higher. So anytime you're going to pay back, they're going to hit your foreign reserve to pay back. And in a currency that is going to weaken your own exchange rate. But if you start building your local currency, if the doctors are training, if anybody wants to invest in the Cameroonian money, the Nigerian money, Ghana money. But when you say, oh, I want the dollar, I want the pound. Now, China is pushing for their own currency to be part of the IMF preferred currency regime. It's going to strangulate you more. By now, Nigeria, if Ghana is so successful, we should be borrowing in the cities. If Nigeria is so successful, we should be borrowing in Naira. Cameroon should be able to borrow in Naira because, hey, it's a next door country or Cameroon currency. We pay you back, but that money stays within geographical region. Not while you pay in London or Washington, D.C. or some other, or Germany or Beijing. How come we have missed that opportunity with all the PhDs that we have in economics and finance and every other thing people go to school to spend time to get? How come we have missed that? It's about the money. It's about the money, and they keep devaluing the currency. I don't know how much, remember at the time everybody in Zimbabwe was a millionaire because the currency was worth nothing. So if you want to go buy a bottle of Coke, it will cost you a million Zim. So it was all about purchasing, but Mugabe never turned it around and said, oh, we got to do this. He was piling up, and things just lost value.
So Okpa, I think one of the things, I mean, again, this is where I want to, as usual, push back, because I think you and I have spent a lot of time maybe criticizing a lot. And I really want to...
Being critical. I don't criticize, I'm critical.
Okay, but again, you want to provide, and this, you can use one example, and this is it, that you have mentioned something. That's how I came to this. I brought up the talk today, because you mentioned, for example, that African cities are so dirty, and urban life in Africa is, I mean, becoming, many people are migrating from the villages to the cities, but nobody's thinking about how to, invest in something like, how do we clean up our cities, sanitation in the cities. And the guy said today that the next millionaire in Africa should come from something like that. If you are thinking about the opportunities, what are the challenges? That is where you should be looking for the opportunities. Because again, everybody thinks that coming to America or going to Europe or going somewhere is the solution to the problem. We have what it takes within our environment. We are not taking advantage of
because the government will not let you. If you and I were to go to any African country now to propose a waste management system, we need a government policy to do that. We need a policy that will secure our investment. But then we could be doing it if a request for proposal is issued by any African country. They will not be looking for indigenous resources for it. They're going to be flying all over the world. Oh, let's go. If you had a contact in Italy or Italian, let me go bring this. But these things can be done by local people. If you don't have the local skill, what you do is you hire the skill you need for 5 to 10 years contract to oversee that initial thing, and then the technology is transferred, the knowledge is transferred. People can always learn something. So the Africans that are going to overseas, because they look at it, they don't even engage their local government. They don't even engage that schoolmate of theirs that at the time they were in school, they said, man, when we get opportunity to do this, we're going to do it. And then your friend becomes minister, he cuts you off. Because now it becomes a secret society. They know how to go out, get some money, or the president gives them enough to shut them up, and they don't do anything. And then their parliament, you look at the parliament, there is a constant opposition. There are no laws being made. And then when you push and push, the president will call the biggest noisemaker in that group and take care of them. And they shut up. So we don't fight based on principles. We fight for convenience. When it's convenient, we fight, or when there's a commitment to appease us. We make the noise and then we say, now my God has blessed me. And you keep quiet and you go away. That's what is killing the Black African. That's what is even killing the Black race. You go to Black Dallas, you see all these Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, didn't you see their president or one of their founders just bought a $1.4 million house in 88% white neighborhood? Why didn't you buy it in a Black neighborhood? You chanting
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, but you don't want to live with your people. You gotta go live with the people you complaining are oppressing your people. So if the Black in America hasn't gotten it together and they are in the country that is the envy of the world, the African is saying, hey, I'm justified in the noise I make. We need a benefactor. The Black race has no benefactors. We have no Marshall Plan. There are no group of Africans that have left that country are coming back with a plan to do something. When World War ended, the Europeans who came to America became white people, went back and said, boom, you guys, no more. You can't do this anymore. And they rebuilt Europe. In less than 10 years, the war ended, Europe was up and running. Who has that Marshall Plan for Africa? Is it the Black people that are still complaining about racism? The Black people that are still trying to figure out whether they're Americans or they're African Americans? So we don't have any outside benefactors. We don't have any. Is it the Jamaicans that are there doing the ganja? Where are you going to? I mean, where are you looking? Who are you looking to? You still going to look up to somebody other than your own, other than a Black person to come and rescue you, and that comes with a price. So
Right.
the 45 million of us Black people in America, including the African Americans, there are 45 million of us or so. What do we have? We're still complaining about racism. The color of our skin, as if God is going to flip a finger one day, everybody's going to look white. Since we have issue with the way we look, it's because we have not succeeded. We have not collectively built a brand that when they see it, a white man can go to Cameroon who has a high school education and they roll out a carpet for him at the airport, or Nigeria, or Kenya. A white man he can't even write his name, but he looks white and he dresses well. But you and I, who may have the content, heck no, why should I listen to them? So that thing in the Bible, they said no prophet has honor in their village.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever put that in the Bible put it because of Black people. Because the way we interpret that, because every other race has respect and honor for their own. They will go to their own first for solution before they look across. It's the African or the Black race who wants to go to somebody else. So they studied us. I mean, people say God wrote the Bible. In the Bible, there is no book called Jesus chapter 1, verse 1. Everybody told the story about Jesus in their own understanding. But Jesus has no chapter, a book of his own. So they must have studied the Black people and say, put this, proverb, who no prophet has honor in their village. So that's why we interpret it literally without being figurative. We're supposed to rely on your own for resources until you are able to exhaust that before you can say, okay, who else can we go to? That's why, like you and I go to Nigeria or any African country today with what we know, and we have a white man with us. Believe me, the reaction, they will not be looking at us. They will look at the white man. And the white man will do what? Will exploit it, Lambert. Everybody goes where their name is recognized. They will exploit it. Because the president will say, Lambert and Edward, you brought a white man, you are the thing, and they will separate us. And they take the white man inside the door.
Right.
And then the white man will now start looking down at you and I. Even though he knows you have more education and better skill than he is or she is. So that's the travesty of our race, and we're not speaking to it.
Right. So I believe, I mean, one of the things that we all need to work on, again, we talk a lot about public-private partnerships in order to overcome
Those
some of
things
these
work
things.
with structure. They are very
Okay.
legal. They are very legal. PPP.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be recognized by a law. Because remember, every investment, it has to be secured by a law. If there's a dispute, or how is the money going to be, I mean, and it's a long term. If you go into, even if you have $50 million or $100 million of your personal money, and you say you're going to go and invest it, you're gonna want to know, what are my risks? Is somebody going to wake up one day and say, forget you, I'm taking over? Which happens in Africa, because the laws are weak, and the laws are based on the wish of the individual, the president or the prime minister. I mean, here in America, if you want to buy a piece of land in the part of America where you live, you don't need to know the mayor, do you?
Nope.
If you want to buy the biggest mall, you don't need to know them. In fact, the mayor wants to know you, and they want to say, "What do you need for us to help you get it done?" But in Africa, they will say, "Oh well, come to the village." The minister will be in the village to celebrate his mom who died 300 years ago. He wants to do ceremony, so that you can come and appease him, and he'll say, "Well, let's talk about it." What you know the word pimp, PIMP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it means? What those letters stand for?
You mentioned it before. Go ahead.
Put in my pocket. That's what it means. So African politicians are pimps. Put in my pocket.
So I mean, again, I said we complain, and that's good. We seek
But
to
I'm giving you a
understand.
solution. We have to make our governance about the law and the rules, and not about the persons. Everything now is about the person. So private public partnership will only work when the law is strong, and the law protects the investors, both the private and the public investor. The private investor, is the one risking the most. Because if you put your money and somebody wakes up one day and takes it over, what do you have? You're going to sue them? Okay, fine, you sue them. And who appointed the judge? Can any judge rule against any president? I mean, even if you do, there's sometimes rule against us so that we make it look like we have something going on. But go and collect. Has the Cameroonian Nigerian ever paid compensation to any businessman for violating the rights of the business person? They have not, because the law is weak, and the law is based on the personality. So we haven't built the judicial business infrastructure that will take care of business interest. Except if it's mineral, then of course it's the president that decides who comes into mine for anything. But if you're gonna build a shopping center or water system, you still have to get their blessing.
So, Okpa, are you insinuating that the African is therefore doomed? I mean, because seemingly
Yes,
we
I
don't
am
have.
saying it. I am saying it. I'm hoping Jesus comes before I die, but he's not coming. Jesus is not coming. Africa is doomed, and I don't think in my lifetime there's going to be any significant shift in the way Africans look at their issue. I mean, my age already, but I'm just saying. I don't think any significant thing will happen in the next 50 years. And if it happens, I will be so happy, because by the time I meet God, I say, "Hey, what's up, homeboy? It finally happened when I saw it." But I don't think it will, because the mentality is still what it is. The mentality is still tribal, is still narrow, is still not critical thinking, is still not challenging the leadership, the status quo. It's not that. It's not that. I mean, in South Africa, when I was back in Nigeria and I did my geography, I was a geography student. My teacher back then said what? Said the only reason South Africa is what it is because of white people. And it's the truth. Africans could not have built South Africa if they were left alone. So apartheid, let's be honest, apartheid had some benefits, because Africans couldn't have. Now, since they took over, you go from Mandela to Mbeki to Zuma to whoever is there now. Go look at South Africa. Go look at Johannesburg. It's been trashed. I mean, there's still some white people there, and they've secured themselves in their own enclave. But look at it. The rand, the rand as a value has been going down because the Africans started just feeling like kids in a candy store. When you have somebody from the jungle who now became president, you think he's going to think about policy? He's going to remember all the years he didn't have sugar and honey. He's going to order it from London.
That's kind of very pessimistic, you know.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be optimistic by being, by false hope. I don't want to. I mean, every day you see the statistics in Africa. I mean, forget the Bloomberg reports, forget the Pricewaterhouse glossy reports, like, or the McKinsey's. When you fly to Cameroon and you land at the airport and you look around you and you go to your village or go to your town, what do you see? When you look at the face of Africans when you land, what do you see? They say African is rising. I said, but it's been rising since every continent was created, but it hasn't risen. So I'm not being pessimistic. I am being very, very cautious. But I'm saying if we keep doing what we're doing, we're not going to go anywhere. The way to get out of it is going to a mental shift and the strength of character to say, Mr. President, this is no longer going to happen. We cannot put up with it anymore. You've been there. You have stifled the life of millions of people for your own. Look at Zimbabwe. Since Mugabe died, what has happened? I mean, some of them are in wheelchair. Like Paul Biya, has any Cameroonian seen him except maybe when he's going to hospital in France? But millions of people are dying. How Mobutu did all he did. Look at what is their name? DRC. How much money do you really need to be able to say, you know what, I've gotten it, let me go do a good job? How much money? How much money? $10 billion? $1 billion? 100 billion? It's not about that. It's about doing things for the other people that are looking up to you as their president or prime minister. I mean, you've built a mansion, you have had you drink champagne, you drink water that is filtered by whatever machine it is. After a while, it's almost like been there, done that. What do I do about healthcare system? What do I do about road security? How do I encourage the other person to say, be all you can be? What rules and policies do we need to change? We're not doing that. We just keep piling the money. And when they die, we also cry. You know the one thing about Black people? The person who was abusing them, when they die, they still line up on the street to wave flag. The president has suppressed you for decades. He dies, you all are mourning. They say, oh, national mourning for 1 week, and you all are crying and shit. You should be dancing on his grave.
So Okpa, let's go, but I want to go 2 steps back. I know we have been talking a lot about this, the fact that Africa seems to be doomed. But I mean, in a certain sense, I think there's a way out, isn't it? The mindset shift.
Way out everything, Lambert, when I came to America in 1980s, in the 80s, and I've been in Dallas since 87, the economy of Texas was in the tanks. In fact, lawyers and doctors especially never wanted to practice medicine in Texas because there was lawsuits, there were all kinds of stuff going on until Governor Perry took over. And there was a law, they call it TOT, law reform. And doctors are coming back. And then 95, Governor Bush deregulated the telecommunication and then deregulated the power industry, utility companies, and things opened up. I was there. I saw it. In 1990, in the regional office of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, there was only 12 computers. And I was one of the regional managers that was given one. I thought it was a TV. I never touched it. But look at it now. 30-something years, America has done what? Boom. Telephone number, you could take your area code anywhere in America and go to anywhere. Is it not? Before you couldn't. Once you move away from the particular area code you have to get a new number. But now you can migrate with your number anywhere. Technology. And it was done by policy change. So what have we done over there in Africa? I mean, you can zoom into any country now and see what they're doing and copy. But do you have the will to paste? And I'm black. I didn't choose the color I came out of. But I'm not gonna ask God to change my color. I ain't got no intention of turning black. I mean, turning what is it called? Bleaching myself to look white. And I mean, this. I didn't choose my color. I didn't choose where I was born. But I have the right to choose where I live, and I have the right to choose to be relevant in the society I live. But that relevancy has to be guided by law and rules and regulations. And that's why, no matter how bad America is, Lambert, there's water coming into your home except you haven't paid your bill. There's light on. So the governor doesn't have to like your part of the city where you live for you to have electricity, does he?
No.
Or water, or sewer, or road. The school, you have a choice whether you go private or public. University, you don't need to know the mayor to get admission. But yeah, in order for you to get admission in some African universities, what happens? And the president can wake up and say, "Oh, your tribe didn't vote for me. You don't need electricity," and everybody will keep quiet. Is it not the case? So
Right.
these are the things we have to change. I'm not talking about us to design a spaceship to go to the moon. I'm talking about the basics. Let me be able to drive across Cross River State. I'm I'm in the western part of Cameroon. Go hang out with you, stay in a hotel, buy some local art, turn around and get back to Nigeria, or keep going to Central African Republic. It's all about physical infrastructure. So don't get excited about app. Except there's one that will make me go there, move me around. Is there an app like that?
I'm waiting for it too.
Mm-hmm. So we
So
got to get back to the basics, and that is going to challenge us. Because again, we have been to any university. What is ABC? The Africans can learn that one plus. But how come after we've gotten all that ABCD and 1+1, we are not able to apply it to be able to change our society? I mean, you don't change this one time. It's an evolving thing. Nation building is 24/7, 365. You just keep going. When you think you have done well, somebody can say, "Hey, we can do better." Remember, for you to say, "My wife is the best," you have started with a good wife, a better wife, before you end up with the best one. Okay? So if you are still with the good one, you cannot say better. So you just remain with the good wife. So Africa cannot say best because they haven't left the first level. And the first level comes by what? More. Doing more. Have we done more? What have we done more of? I mean, we have had more population. What have we improved on what? The things that makes life living is what I'm saying. What is that quality of life for us? If you go to Cameroon, don't you see people carrying water, buckets of water on their head? Why should we have that in 21st century in a tropical country where we have average of 7 or to 8 or 10 inches rain? So we couldn't find an engineering process to pipe that water, whether in the rural area or the urban area. You mentioned migration, because life in the rural area is so tough. People have to go to where they think things are. That's why the streets are congested. That's why some people who have never used a commode, if they don't know how to do it, they pee on the street because that's it in the village. And if all those things create urban challenges and healthcare. If we have water system in our cities, 70% of some of the health issues we have will go away. Because part of it is, there are people who walk around for weeks and have never really taken, until I came to America and really be in my shower and enjoy the hot and the cold. Before I just throw water on my body, throw it, you go away. But now I know what is better. You know what I mean? But if that's all you have now, you think it's good. Just water. What water would do to you. Being able to wash your clothes, cook, drink, do food processing. Agriculture. Why is the world so suspicious about buying anything from us? Because our food processing doesn't have what it takes for people to have confidence in it. Because you need water for agriculture. In order for you to process something, you need water. Do we have it? Do we have it in the way that the other ones are looking for? We don't. It's sitting there in the ground. I mean, we can go to the stream and get a bucket. If you're going to have a chicken processing plant, you know how much gallon of water you need to process one chicken? 3 to 5 gallons. But we don't process it. We kill the chicken, we roast it in, and the feather, we burn up the feather, and then that's it. So if you're gonna say buy African chicken because it's organic, they say, well, it has not been processed.
Right. I mean, again, back to the thing we mentioned about the future of work and how that is going to change in Africa. The other thing that I really learned today, which was quite fascinating, and it's a point you have made in another sense, is our educational system. And the guy put it very well that the education system in Africa is one that was designed for Europe in the 18th century. That is what we are still using in Africa today. Nobody is, it's too knowledge intensive and there are no skills. That is why the famous example of my friend, we went to a graduation ceremony, and we took out the booklet, the graduation booklet, and there were like 5 students who were graduating with history, a degree in history. And he said when he was in university, one of the most popular departments was the Department of History. They had about 2,500 students in the Department of History. We find the reverse here. And so the focus has to be on skills, isn't it? Because that's where the world is going to with this now.
You gotta produce something. I mean, I don't mind you studying history, but you have to make the history. Because history, I mean, come on, history is everything. What happened yesterday is history. You could talk about it. What happened, that's history. It's something in the past. We need some of the things of the past, but we can't put weight on it. We have to say, how do we build roads? How do we have water, electricity? Because your economy cannot grow if you don't have electricity. The Western culture have identified that, and if you don't have it, you're not going anywhere. Not electricity that will light one bulb in your house. Remember, most African homes have that tiny one. Or they say, oh, it's solar. Oh, or it's green energy. Lambert, have you ever seen electricity that is green? I mean, have you even seen the color of electricity? So why are they telling you it's green? We just need electricity, and we need it in a capacity, in abundance, in order to power manufacturing, to do processing, to do irrigation on a large scale farming, to move goods to storage. When you produce it and process it, you got to put it in a certain storage capacity with certain temperature in order to do what? Preserve it for either the domestic market or the export market. We don't have those things. So our food, 90% of them get wasted. You go to the markets, any of these open markets in Africa, what do you see? Rotten tomato, rotten mango, rotten vegetable. But those things could be what? Those things are money and resources. But they are not packaged, they are not stored, they are not stored in a way to give them another shelf life. It's wasted. So the poverty cycle keep just no break. The same thing. Because, hey, I bet you some of the presidents will order their beef from France or London. So we need a skill set. We don't, app people are fine. They are the skill. They're not going to build you roads. I don't get excited when they say an African is a billionaire because, he's on social media and he's not telling people how to get married, or he's telling people how to wire money, or he how to download something. Okay, fine. But how is that helping the fact that this hardcore infrastructure are absent? I mean, okay, if you call Cameroon from US and you're using a calling card for $5, how many minutes do you get out of that calling
card? I think that's about 15, if not 15, 20. I'm not.
Okay, just 15. Yes. Because when your call in US is routed to somebody in France who's going to make a surcharge before they relate it to Cameroon. So why should that be? Why should that be? By now, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that $5 calling card. It should get you up to 1 hour calling time. I mean, talking time. But these are the things, the challenges. And then when you do the hello, how about if you want to download? How many people can watch video? Because video requires a lot of data and bandwidth. How many people can? If you're a university student in any of the African countries that has the challenges of internet connectivity, you're not able to even Google something and stay on it for a long time. Because it's expensive when you start to do that, to download information. So we haven't even gotten to the critical part of computer resources. Or telecommunication, we're just doing the hello, and we're able to, do wire money, send money by whatever app we're using. That's convenience, but it hasn't converted the economy to a robust one. So how do we do it skill set? Our universities, like you said, is a lecture university. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The professor comes in, every student takes note, and sometimes they give you a handout. This is what you have to study if you want to pass my course, and you have to buy it.
Right.
And you scramble, you memorize, and he checks it. Every at the beginning of this semester or the term, he looks at who has purchased the handout, because that's how they make their own money too. If you haven't purchased it, you're not gonna pass, because you say, "Hey, I looked at my list. How are you able to pass if you didn't buy my handout?" So you have to buy it, and they lecture you. They don't leave you room to ask questions, and then the Africans are afraid to ask. That's critical thinking. American universities are teaching universities. African universities are lecturing. And you know what? When America, they say, "Don't lecture me." You know what I mean? That's the first thing. Don't lecture me. But Africans lecture because they don't. When somebody's lecturing you, they don't give you opportunity to talk back at them. You take what I'm saying, whether you like it or not. And that has stifled our critical thinking, our reasoning, and our innovation and creativity. Because you're afraid to say back, even how many people are able to engage their parents in a conversation. Your dad say, "Hey, Dad, no, that custom doesn't work for me, or that tradition doesn't work." That's why they come here and they ruin our families. They say, "In Nigerian, they come here and say your culture." So if your culture is good, why did you leave? If the Nigerian culture is so good, why did you leave Nigeria or the tradition? I know you guys do it in Cameroon, like somebody die, you have to kill a cow or a goat or something. Don't they do the same thing?
Of course. We share
And
the
so
same
I'm saying,
culture.
so if your culture is good, why, when you're in America, somebody die, kill a cow in your house and see whether the animal service will not lock you up. So that culture is a culture of convenience. It's not a culture of conviction. Because if it's conviction, you would do it. And if they challenge you, you go to court. But Africans do culture of convenience. So there are a lot of things we have to change. It's not that the white man, God has been so generous with them. I mean, look at how many wars that happened in Europe. The Germans wanted to take over, the Russians, you know what I mean? It killed in order to have what they have now. How many African countries have had wars against each other? I would love for Cameroon to want to take over the Central African Republic. Or Nigeria said, "Okay, you guys in Niger and Chad, you are too small, you're an embarrassment. Boom, we put you in, and we redraw the map, and we start to reduce the number of countries, because every time they blame the Berlin Convention that carved up Africa the way it is." I said, "Okay, since you become independent, how many of you have renegotiated yourselves back into a bigger country? You haven't. Everybody has maintained that, and some people even want more to be created. I mean, Southern Sudan and Sudan, they did that, and in Nigeria, this, Biafran people, those who believe in that crap, are still wanting to push forward. So, I had a conversation recently on another TV show like yours, and I told them, I said, make every compound in Nigeria a country. They still will not figure it out. Because democracy is a mature form of government. And Africans haven't shown maturity when it comes to democracy because they're agitating. Oh, break away, give us our own section of the country. Give us our piece. And then when they give it to them, what do? They go back again and start to divide themselves along their maternal line. If your father is polygamous, now, are you the son, the child of the first wife, second wife, you don't count, and they start to fight. There's a lot of fighting with us black people because we start to fight because our father may have become a sprinkler system and had many kids. And then we start to fight from that level. Hmm? So if you want to be democratic, you have to have a maturity of mind in order to accommodate differences, and you harness those differences into opportunity. Because the fingers are not shaped alike. Every finger is different. Every finger does their own thing separately. But when you want to deliver a punch, one finger cannot give a punch, can it?
Nope.
So you bring together the whole fingers in a fist. That's what every country is. We respect your rights to be where you be, Northern Cameroon, Central Cameroon, South Cameroon. Yeah, you are your own. Do what is good for you in that region, and we'll support you. But if Cameroon we have to go to war with another country, we pull everybody together because now it's a Cameroonian thing. We got to go to that war. I mean, you see it in America. There are 15 nations in America. Every state has their own constitution, and they have two houses, this House of Representatives and the Senate. And so if you're a lawyer in Maryland, you don't practice in Virginia except you have a reciprocity, is it not?
Correct.
Or a doctor, you don't move around and do medicine anywhere. You do it in the state that you are in their medical board. But in Nigeria, it's one nation. Yes, you are a doctor in Sokoto, you go to the east and start doing stuff. Can we do it? You say one Nigeria, one Africa. No, you can't. There's nothing one about anything. The only time is if we're gonna attack. If you attack us as a nation, we rally for it. But after that is over, go back to wherever part of the country you come to and do the best you can. If there's mineral in your region, because that's what God has left for you guys there, we recognize you. We say, please go ahead and produce it. And when it comes to the surface, this is a national tax on it. We're going to use it to be able to, do our military. Because the only thing that holds countries together are what? The military.
Mm-hmm.
And then the interstate, that like the road system. That's it. In America, that's why we have interstate, and then we have the interstate commerce. And when you commit certain crime on the freeway, there's a federal law that takes over because you're on the interstate. If they catch somebody moving drugs between on the interstate freeway, automatically is what? Is a federal crime.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So do we have that? We let states do the things. States compete in America. States compete. If there are companies in California, we go wooing them to move to Virginia, and it's all acceptable, and everybody does that. Everybody say, hey, come over here. We give you this incentive. We support you this way, blah, blah, blah. Do we have those things? We don't. Everything is in our state capital. After the state capital of most African cities, what is the economy in everywhere else? Huh? Everything is in the state capital. I mean, Washington, D.C., there are no industry there except for, the industry of people talking and lobbying. But if you want to see America, you go to where the people are. If you want to deal with Walmart, you go to Arkansas. You want to do with Amazon or Microsoft, you know what I mean? You know where they are physically.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But if he was in Africa, all of them would be in the state capital because, hey, that's where the whole action is. Everywhere else is a village or a rural area. So we got to change. I mean, China has done something in the past 20, 30 years that anybody can copy. But we have to recognize the Chinese form of government is heavy-handed. When the chairman said this is what we're going to do, everybody, you know what I mean?
Right.
In Africa, the military would have had the best opportunity to do it, but the military were the same Africans. It doesn't matter whether they're in uniform or they're in the civilian clothes. They missed the opportunity to set the standard. Because even remember at the time in America, they didn't allow the women to vote. You know that
Right,
women
right.
didn't vote until the 1920s. They didn't even allow the black people. So if you're going to build a nation, there's going to be some level of high-handedness. And once you secure the foundation, you begin to add on. Is it not?
Yeah,
You just don't open it up to everybody. So there's some people you gotta have to kill. Sorry, I have to use the phrase. You gotta wipe them out. There's some people you have to clip their wings so that you get to what it is you think is the foundation that will be very difficult for them to overturn. And now you can say, okay, you all can come in. You okay, it's all right. Sorry about what happened in the past, but look at what you get now. But if you don't have that, where everybody every day is agitating for the part of Africa, we want our own tribe to be the people ruling, we want this and we want that. You can never have the concentration and the focus you need in order to drive the country forward. America has its own issues, but the issues we know is the basic part. The president of America cannot tell even the mayor of the city where you live what to do. Is it not right?
correct. That's true.
But the Nigerian president can wake up one day and say, heck you, you out. But in America, the governor of a state cannot even tell the mayor of the city on him what to do. Because every politician, what did they say, is what? Local.
Local.
The people that live in that city are the one paying taxes. And if you abuse their money, oh my freaking, you know what?
Right. So, Selpa, I'm very grateful. I want us to use the last minute to talk about something that happened this week. And the last time you were here 2 weeks ago, you were going to receive the ambassador from Bahrain, and I have the pictures that I'm going to put on Facebook so that people can see. I missed it just because of COVID. Um, then there was an announcement that we were looking forward to, and seemingly it happened this week, and I'm very happy because it's something that many people don't take advantage of these things, and I want us to spend the remainder of the time just to talk about this because it's, again, for me, it's a mindset shift. You have to be you have to think differently outside the box in order to get it. So let's
I
hear.
don't only think outside the box, I act outside the box.
Okay.
Okay. And I physically migrated, but I have mentally migrated as well. Mentally is in the sense that, okay, I say this is what I want to do. And what I want to do, if it's with my people that look like me, I do it. If it's not, I'm going. I'm very unapologetic about anything I do. So, for me to have hosted the ambassador, it wasn't by accident. When they said he was coming to town, they reached out to me and said, Mr. Okpa, can you have this number of people? It wasn't going to be a big crowd event. They say we needed. So everybody in that picture you saw, there were about 10 of us.
Yeah.
I invited them, and of course the ambassador came with an assistant, and then the president of the bilateral chamber, and then the one other lady. But the rest of them were my invitees, because I wanted people to sit in a room. You saw the picture, to have a conversation, and we had a conversation. Information was shared, such now that the ambassador wants me to come to Bahrain. Does that happen by accident?
No.
No, you have to have content. And then, I made some suggestions on some things he liked, and now we've been having conversation. That's what this is about. It's not necessarily people who look like you. If you can do more, with people who look like you, go for it. But you have to do what? Expand your horizon. And you have to go out there. And a lot is learned when you interact with people from all kinds of background. The ambassadors, elected people, business people. You have to have all this interaction to see the desire and the need for a human being is the same thing. Public safety, health. Can our country want to do more? Can you bring some investors, or can you help us? I mean, this is a conversation whether it's for a developing country or undeveloped country. But if he was ambassador of Nigeria, I will not do that event. Because the ambassador will call people from his or her village. Okay, and they will come over there and it becomes something else. I will never host an African ambassador because the conversation is not what I expect. They want to go and somebody's house and chop good meat and cook on us like that. I don't extend myself to them, except if I see that the program they are really serious. Because when they come, if the Nigerian ambassador comes to Dallas, it becomes a tribal thing. People from their tribe, you want to host, is our tribe person.
Yeah.
So from our tribe, and by the time and they even say, "Why are you dealing with AGK? That guy who is so this. Well, these other people, thank God for relationships. They don't. It's like we love this guy. We want him around. But if I'm dealing with my own people, then it's something in the Bible. No prophet has honor in their village. And that's why my village is America. It's not the village in Nigeria. I'm fine with it. So
Right.
yeah, thank you for that. I the ambassador, in fact, he did a tweet, and the picture he used in his tweet is the picture where I was giving him a fist bump. I mean, that picture will sit in the whatever cloud as long as you know how long those things stay.
Right.
So that's that, and then of course my name is known to him, and the things we are talking about doing is pushing it. He's got to go back, get back to the home country and say, hey, this is what this guy is talking. If that thing happens again, I will announce it because I gave him some ideas that he said, man, I love this one. So I'm keeping it quiet. And my wife always say, how do you come up with these things that everybody want to do? Do you always have it planned? I said, no, it just comes to me. I look at you and I just say, hey, how about that? And they get excited about it because I don't talk to them about what is regular.
Right.
I talk to them about what challenges them, what they pause and say, whoa, wow, I like that. Can we do it? I say, why not? I say, if it couldn't be done, I wouldn't even say it.
Right.
And they said, let's do it. So, since you and I started talking, I have never said how much money I make. I don't talk about money. I talk about roles. I talk about the things I do, I want to do with people. But not about, oh, man. I mean, by the time when the time comes for me to go 6 feet under, is anybody taking my money? In fact, even if they bury me with money, people will come and steal it once they cover me up. People always say, oh, he buried him with gold. Okay, when everybody's crying, the people will come and they zoom in, take whatever they can and throw me back in there. So don't crack your head about the money because nobody's taking it, and if you do, you're gonna invite thieves to the grave. And then the other announcement, I'll let you talk about that.
Good. So very proud. Again, I'm very happy that this is a great announcement. Sir Okpa has been in Dallas all this while. He has done a lot of things, but this one, again, he has been appointed by the governor, Greg Abbott, notified him. He has been appointed for a 6-year term to the State Securities Board, and he's going to be with a 5-member board, and the mission is to protect the Texan investors. So, Sir Okpa, congratulations. Being nominated to a board and being appointed to a board, and many people don't understand what these things are. They are based on relationships, they are based on expertise, they are based on, this. You have something to show, and because they have recognized that, that is why you have been nominated to that. So tell us a little bit about what that is, because already I first met you through your reappointment with the Export Import Bank. So you're on many of these boards.
Well, democracy is a funny business. You know why it's funny? Because when you vote, you have fulfilled your civic responsibility. Now, After that is now what is called the politics of the business. And the politics of the business is where those boards and commissions become effective because they're the ones that are going to vote on programs, on this, on that. So I'm fortunate to be able to be in a room where, 5 people, 6 people can say all in favor, aye, all opposed, this. You move on, you learn. So a month or so ago, I got a phone call from, a relation of the former governor. He said, "Where's your resume?" And I was like, since 1990, I've never applied for a job. I've been self-employed. I don't even, if you ask me for my resume, I said, go Google me. Okay, whatever you get out of that Google, I don't Google myself. Yes, it's fine. But I said, okay, fine. There's something back in 2014. That's the last time I ever took time to put something about me. I said, okay. I went in there and sent it to them. And I said, who needed, I asked, I said, who needed this? He said, well, he told me who. I said, okay, fine. Because I don't ask, what is it for? Blah, blah, blah. And then, you have to, there's a formal application you have to do. And I filled it out and I said it what I wanted. But the position, the boss I wanted, already has been taken care of. So they said, okay, this is the one we want you. The securities board is like, have you heard of the SEC?
Yes,
Securities and Exchange Commission.
correct.
This is what that is for Texas.
Okay, okay.
So if you're gonna sell investment or promote other stuff, I mean, there are 350 something thousand firms that are registered to do business in Texas. And so that they are going to promote investment or selling securities, whatever that is. So this boss overlooks the regulation about them. But here's the interesting thing. The budget to run this board is about $7 million. $7 million because of the staff, and the
Right.
lawyers and all these other people. But do you know how much money they produce for state of Texas? About $200 million.
Wow.
So they're generating about 200 million and they're using less than 10% to run the agency. That's effectiveness. That's how you learn these things when you participate in them. Because American governments don't sell oil. So the states make money from fees and fines and regulations and all this other stuff. So it's a learning thing. I wish some African countries say, Mr. Okpa, we may not like you, but you look like there's a little thing in this your blackhead. Can you come talk to us? How do we set up something? How do we monitor? How do we start something like this? But just look at the ratio. Lambert, you spending $7 million or $8 million to run your agency. You are producing what? The
200,
multiples.
200 million.
200 million, close to that. And that money is what helps the state to do what? Goods and services, or put money away in the general fund. While we're sitting there selling commodities, we're there, so I am happy to be one of the 5. So I got a call, I think Monday, the email, hey, congratulations, because the way it works, the governor makes the nomination. So the senator for my district, because Texas has 23 senators, they have to concur with them. Have to, hey, this person lives in your district, and and then my senator is a Democrat,
Oh, wow.
and I'm a Republican. Okay, you know. So, so the senator concurred. So yes, I have no problem with Mr. Okpa because they know my background. I ran for mayor. Remember, I always say it. I ran for
Yes,
mayor,
yes.
but I didn't lose anything either.
You didn't win, but you didn't lose.
I didn't lose. The only time you lose an election is if you're already elected and you run for re-election and you don't make it, then you lost. But if you have never won it, you have never lost it. Just like when you say, hey, I lost winning the lottery. You never won the
Bro,
lottery. so, but anyway, so that's that, and then so what the process? That's part of the process is done now. The last set of it is the Texas Senate, which is in a consent vote. Boom. So I will get a certificate. It'll be appointed to this. I have one that when I was appointed to the product development board, I served there for 6 years under Governor Perry, who's been the longest governor, the longest serving governor in the state of Texas. About 14 years he served. So, and who was the energy secretary, for Perry.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are people that I know, and I don't know them because I go hanging out with them or shooting this, but they know me because I always say I want to serve. I have never gone to a politician to give me contract because I'm very vocal. I don't want to be in anybody's pocket. If you do something I don't like, I say go to hell, and I mean it. I'll buy you the ticket and I move on. So I'm about the service because how much more food am I going to eat or something? So thank you for having you are the first public station. I'm saying this for your listening audience wherever they are. I'm proud to serve my state. I wasn't born in Texas, but as soon as I could find it on a map, I moved. Okay, it's my home. I'm proud Texan. Even though I have an accent, my accent is my asset. Okay, because when I
That's a
say
good one.
something, in a room, everyone's like, "Okay, we're gonna have to pay attention." So I make sure.
Right.
But it's good to serve my state. I have had political appointment from all levels of American government, from the city to the county to the state to the federal. You're not going to have many African immigrants that say that. I've run the city, I've done the county appointment, I've done state appointment, now federal, So I'm proud of that. What does it do for me? It gives me this joy that I like for my life. So thank you for having me in your sphere of listeners and making me stand in a firing squad every Wednesday and get shot at.
Yeah, and Selpa, I really want to say congratulations. And the reason we are saying this here is also encourage many African immigrants. We talked about it here once during one of our shows, where you encourage people to stay local, isn't it? That's where the politics is
Yeah.
happening. It's not about the president.
Get to know the form of your city council, your school board, your county government. Know who your representatives are. They know me. Everybody who represent me from my district knows me. My council member knows me. When they want to run for office, they come to my. And I feel good when they say, "Mr. Okpa, can we come and talk to you about our interest of run for city council?" I say, "Come on." I said, "I'm not meeting you in a restaurant. You're gonna come to the Okpa hot. I really hot." Okay. And they will come and I will tell them, "Sit over there." And they will sit and they listen. And they tell me, I said, "Tell me why you want to run that." It started to behave like the chief my father was. Tell me why. Isn't that interesting?
It is very, very.
Yeah, and they come and they say, "We like your support." I say, "You got my support." And they say, "Please tell others." I say, "Do they do?" I said, "Wow." The governors will come. When Governor Abbott came to my house before he became governor. So he was campaigning to, after Perry, left. And I have this tradition. When you come to my house, you sign a chair. I have a chair that only certain political people sign, put their signature on. And so Perry was the only one. I said the next person I would sign was going to be a president, not a senator or another governor. So there was still one space left. So when Governor Abbott came, he was campaigning. And I said, "Mr. Governor," after the event was over, I was started already calling him governor. I said, there's a protocol here. He said, "What's the protocol?" I said, "There's this rocket chair you have to sign." He said, "Well, I'm not a governor yet." I said, "You will be. So sign." And he signed. Just like when I met Trump said, "I don't know if I'm going to win." I said, "Mr. President, you're going to win. If you don't mind, hold on, let me show you something, okay? You see, have a minute?"
Yeah, of course.
"Let me show you something." Because if Trump had won, I would have become an ambassador. So hold on.
Wow.
So this is from the White House. Okay, here it is. Okay. Can you read it?
Yes, pull it up.
You see what did he say? Office of.
Let me see again. It's not correct. Office of the President, appointee information sheet, presidential personnel office. Wow.
Okay. And then this is I'm going to read this because it's too tiny. This is the email that I got. It said the Office of Presidential Personnel would like to discuss potential opportunities within the State Department with you. That's my ambassadorial thing. So I was close to killing this cow. But here's the letter that white man wrote to the president. You see it?
Yes.
The White House, dear Mr. President, it was about me. Recommendation, Ed Okpa, a white man.
Yeah.
So I am not ambassador, but at least my name ended up in the White House.
Yeah, so congratulations again. This is meant to encourage us. We all, this is a land of too many opportunities, and there are ways by which we can take advantage. I'm privileged and very happy to have known you, to have met you, Sir Okpa. We have never met each other physically, but it seems as if we have known each other for too long. And
then this is the one from the governor. See, what did he say? Director, Governor's Appointment Office.
This is what I should do. Hold on.
See, okay. Good morning, Mr. Okpa. We have got good news for you. We have received your senator's concurrence on your appointment. See?
Correct.
Yeah. So, whether you like Mr. Okpa or not, he makes his rounds.
Right. So again, today we have been talking about African development and whether we need foreign aid, but at the end of it, we said it all depends on us, and this is an opportunity. Sir Okpa is showing us the way we can change the continent. We can change the continent by changing ourselves, and we can become influential wherever we are. So again, I'm grateful and I want to say congratulations. I'm glad that this announcement was made on my show. And so, Okpa, any last words?
Well, thank you again. Be what you can be or you expect from your society by being that example. You have to show people that it can be done. You have to challenge yourself. You have to defy yourself and go in the direction of your fear. I think part of it is a lot of people are afraid, and they are afraid because they don't have information. Are afraid they think somebody's going to say no. I always said to them, the girl we ended up marrying wasn't the girl we first said, hello, I like you. So if when people say no to you, that's not discouragement. You look at it as like my timing is, maybe the timing is wrong or you didn't say it right. But most people just don't even want the rejection. If you reject me, I don't reject myself. So believe in America. If you don't believe in America, get out of here. We don't have to be here. There are 100 and some other countries you can go to. But if you're here and you don't like what is going on, step up in your community. Be part of the solution. And then, try to have things you could say you have done beyond just being in your career. So, America looks up to every one of our citizens for solution. What is going on? You may have it. Open your mouth. Don't be afraid of your accent. Because when you're giving somebody a money, nobody's ever rejected your money because they said they don't understand your accent. They take it. So why are you afraid of speaking out? Because even on your job, in corporate America, there's a lot of politics there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see a lot of Africans, they don't make it to the executive office because they don't know how to do, we don't have the human skills. We don't know how to navigate. We think, oh no, these white people, white people are human beings. They have needs. So get out there and defy yourself is my last word. And do it confidently. And don't ever think everything you do is going to be about money. The money oftentimes comes from sources you don't expect. But if you put attention on money, you probably be what they say, you're chasing it, and oftentimes you don't get it. So think of other things. Think about things. Perfect that in your mind. Convince yourself you want to do it. And money is a byproduct of effort. Money always comes.
Thank you, as always, very inspirational. Thank you, Prince Kafine, Ray Awa, Masango, DJ Eric. DJ Eric says, congratulations, Luis Lonsi, Elliot Wete. Thank you all for watching. See you again next week. Next Wednesday will be another term. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.